Good afternoon all, and welcome to a wet and dreary Silverdale beach. However, it is empty, so the electric Sprinter, myself and Annabelle, have got it all to ourselves. It's a fair bit bigger than the Vito, isn't it? And just look at that. Now you remember last year that we drove the Vito, and it's the perfect thing for, say, delivery driving, or well, that's it, isn't it? It does it. Hi Matt, how are you? It opens doors, doesn't it? Because you can just painlessly cruise around the Lake District or wherever, recouping miles with your heavy regen. Speaking of that, you've got, I think there's about 4 levels of regen, and they're operated using paddles on the back of the steering wheel. Well, the price is about 50 grand, but it is a considerably bigger van than the Vito, which means you can put taller packages in, longer loads and so on. The thing to note is it does have a lesser payload than the Vito. The reason I'm comparing it to the Vito so much is because there's a fair difference, especially in height. It's remarkable, isn't it, what you can actually put an electric powertrain in. It is a good price, Matt, yeah, and that's the thing, you can recoup it rather quickly because you're not putting all that diesel in, are you? Now later this week we'll have the diesel Sprinter, so we'll do a bit of a comparison. But it drives very much like the Vito. It's got 295 meters of torque and newton meters of torque. 85 kilowatt electric motor which develops 114 brake horsepower, and it doesn't look that too dissimilar to the diesel Sprinter either. It's quite well equipped inside as well, and we've got lots of options. Will be fun parking them both on your drive. Yeah, it's staying on the main road for the time being. Dorothy the C124 seems to have pride of place on the drive currently. So we're just setting up all the camera mounts and things to go off an adventure. What we're filming today is how payload affects it. So we're going to go and put about 400 kilograms of gravel, rock, a roller, all types of random things in it and see how it copes. Because that's the biggest question about an electric van. Will it actually do what I need it to? I'll just open the cabin and we can have a quick look in. So yeah, electric windows, automatic headlamps, rain sensing wipers, all the kind of things that you're used to in a car. Manual seats, and you can also change the configuration of the seats in the car as well. Van. You can get an uprated infotainment screen as well, and look, Sprinter. No, it is not rear wheel drive, it is front wheel drive. It's also got a start stop button as well. Yeah, I know. It's not what you expect from a Sprinter, is it? You expect rear wheel drive power, but no, this is front. I know. Range is, let's say, 90. It does vary at speeds obviously, but I think they're claiming 96. But the interesting thing is you can recoup so much back. I think it's about 14 miles per charge. And if you're in somewhere like the Lake District, it's perfect because all those big hills that you're going to be going down, you're just going to be recouping left, right and centre. As I mentioned before, there's the paddles, and that's where you activate your regen. So you just literally plus and minus. Like all Sprinters, you've got your drive here. So reverse, neutral, drive and park at the end. And yes, because it's the new Sprinter, we've got rid of the foot activated handbrake, and you've now got an electronic one here. Now, we've only had it a day or so, so I'm just going to have a quick read through some of the stats. Charging time, about 8 hours on the Type 2 at 7.4 kilowatts, which is about right. And Mercedes do offer lots of packages when it comes to wall boxes and things like that, and you can save quite a bit of money. You also get a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty. And I like it. It's definitely going to resolve the problem that the Vito had for longer and taller loads. It drives just like a Sprinter. If anything, it's probably a bit more stuck to the road, but that's because of the weight of the batteries. But overall, it's very cool. It will be interesting to see how it copes when we stick loads in it today. So we'll do all the proper tethering, and we'll also see how it accelerates, because I've heard some horror stories like if it's fully loaded it'll crawl along at 20 miles an hour, and I'd like to actually check that, because I can't believe that, to be honest. I don't think they would have released a vehicle that would have been, when it's carrying its normal payload, that dangerous, because it just doesn't make sense. So as far as we know, I think this is the only size you can actually get, which is L2 and H2. If you've got any questions about the eSprinter, you'd like to know anything else, or you'd like us to cover something in the review, please comment below. And if there's anything that's really nagging you because you want to buy one, just honestly ask away, and we'll do our best to try and cover it. And I think that's it for us. Yeah, looks impressive in its iridium silver. Ah yes, one last thing. Does it have a reversing camera? Yes, it does. And it's not the fact that it just has the reversing camera, it's where it actually displays it. So, it is, Joseph, thank you. Yeah, this is literally about a mile from the house. So you've got Grange over there, Arnside that way, and Morecambe and Heysham that way. This is really cool. The screen for the reversing camera, you can grab that please, Annabelle, is in the mirror, which I will demonstrate now. Okay, foot on brake. La 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 la. Copyright, copyright, copyright. Okay, let's put it in reverse and look at that. That is so cool. As soon as I started reversing it, I was like, oh dear. And I saw that and thought, oh, this just makes things, it's like a game changer for vans, isn't it? So there you go. We're off on our adventure now, and we will come back to you when we have some interesting news on how range is affected with loads. Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, that's the thing. When you start putting these mod cons that you see in cars, it just makes a van driver's life a lot easier. I mean, even down here you can see it's telling me that my doors are open and that kind of thing. On that note, I better wander around. Thanks for joining me, and we'll be back later in the week with the 5 things that we found interesting about the Mercedes. Don't know whether they'll be good or bad, but I can guarantee that reversing camera will be there. Yeah, this is the biggest thing, because most people are really panicked about how much a load will affect your range, especially if you're out in, say, the depths of the Lake District. I mean, you've got your recouping, but you don't actually know how far you're going to go, especially if you're carrying that 700 kilo payload. Thank you guys. Bye bye.